It was a sunny morning when millionaire Sophia de Oliveira decided to take a tour of the city in her convertible car. She had no appointments scheduled for the day and decided to take advantage of her free time to get to know the place where she lived better. Subscribe to the History or Truth channel and have the best stories to move and reflect on. Let's go to the video. As she drove down the main street, Sophia spotted an elderly woman sitting on a wooden bench, staring at an old abandoned house across the street. She realized that the lady was there every day, always at the same time, looking in the same direction. Intrigued by the scene, Sophia decided to stop the car and approach the elderly woman and try to understand what kept her there. She approached gently and asked, "Hello, everything is fine? You are always here at this time, looking at that house. Do you know anyone there?" The lady was startled by Sophia's presence, but soon calmed down and replied with a sad smile on her face. "Hello, my dear. I come here every day because this house was mine once. I lived there for many years but had to sell it when my husband passed away and I could no longer afford to keep it." Sophia was moved by the lady's story and decided to help her. She asked if the elderly woman needed any financial help to recover the house, but the answer was negative. The lady said that she had already tried to recover the house, but that the new owner did not want to sell it back. Sophia was outraged by the owner's attitude and decided to investigate the matter. She discovered that the current owner of the house was a rich and selfish man who had bought the property at a very low price and refused to sell it back to the elderly woman. Determined to help the old lady, Sophia decided to take matters into her own hands. She hired a lawyer specializing in real estate law and made a purchase offer to the homeowner. The man declined the offer, saying the house was worth much more than the amount offered. Sophia didn't give up and decided to do something even more radical. She hired a team of architects and interior designers to completely renovate the lady's house. She wanted to give the elderly woman a new home, a place to start her life over and feel happy again. Work began and the old house turned into a real palace. Sophia invested a lot of money in the renovation and spared no effort to make everything perfect. She knew the house meant a lot to the lady and wanted to give her back some of the happiness she had lost. When the renovation was ready, Sophia invited the elderly woman to visit her new home. The lady was moved by what she saw. She couldn't believe that this place was the same one that had been abandoned and run down. The house was beautiful, with new furniture, impeccable paintwork, and a flowering garden in the backyard. The elderly woman cried with emotion and thanked Sophia with all her heart. She said she never imagined that anyone could be as kind and generous as she is. Sophia hugged the lady and said it was just a small gesture of gratitude for what she had done in her life. From that moment on, Sophia and the elderly woman became great friends. They began to meet regularly to talk and drink tea. Sophia loved listening to the lady's stories about her life and past adventures. One day, during one of these conversations, the elderly woman told Sophia about a daughter she had lost many years ago. She said that her daughter had moved to another city and never heard from her again. The lady missed her daughter very much and had never gotten over her loss. Sophia was moved by the lady's story and decided to do something to help her find her daughter. She hired a private detective and asked him to investigate the whereabouts of the elderly woman's daughter. After a few weeks of searching, the detective finally found the lady's daughter. He discovered that she still lived in the same town and that she had married and had children. He also found out that the lady's daughter was suffering from a serious illness, and that she didn't have much time to live. Sophia was very saddened by the news, but decided to act quickly. She contacted the lady's daughter and asked her to visit her as soon as possible. The daughter was surprised by the invitation, but accepted promptly. When the daughter arrived at the lady's house, the two hugged and cried a lot. Sophia was also present and the three spent a wonderful afternoon together, remembering the good times of the past and making plans for the future. In the late afternoon, when the lady's daughter was about to leave, Sophia handed her a check for a very generous amount. She said it was a gift so that her daughter could take care of her health and enjoy life to the fullest. The lady's daughter was touched by Sophia's generosity and was very grateful. She said that she had never met anyone as kind and generous as she was. After her daughter's visit, the lady felt happier and more fulfilled than ever. She knew that she had lost many things throughout her life, but she also knew that she had gained something very valuable: Sophia's friendship and kindness. Sophia, in turn, felt fulfilled for having helped someone who needed it so much. She knew that money wasn't everything in life and that what really mattered was friendship and generosity. She felt that she had taken an important step towards full happiness and that her life would never be the same after that encounter with the elderly woman who looked at the old house every day. Sophia continued to visit the elderly woman regularly, bringing her gifts and taking her for walks. They became inseparable, and the lady considered her like a daughter. One day, during one of these visits, the elderly woman felt unwell and Sophia immediately called an ambulance. The lady was taken to the hospital, where doctors found that she had suffered a stroke and her health condition was serious. Sophia was very shaken by the news and spent the night in the hospital next to the lady. She didn't want to leave her alone at any time and was determined to be there to help her in whatever was needed. Fortunately, the lady recovered from the stroke and was able to return home a few days later. Sophia helped her recover by bringing her healthy food, medicine, and keeping her company. However, the elderly woman knew that her time was running out. She called Sophia in for a chat and said she was so grateful for everything she had done for her. She said that she knew she didn't have much time to live and that she wanted Sophia to continue doing good for others when she was gone. Sophia was touched by the lady's words and promised that she would continue to help others whenever she could. She knew that the lady had been a great inspiration to her and that she would never forget the lesson of kindness and generosity she had learned from her. Some time later, the lady passed away peacefully at her home, surrounded by her family and Sophia. Sophia was very saddened by the loss of her great friend, but she knew that the lady had left in peace and that she was now resting in a better place. Sophia fulfilled her promise and began to dedicate her life to doing good for other people. She founded a charity that helped people in need around the world, built schools, hospitals, and orphanages in developing countries, and donated much of her wealth to humanitarian causes. Sophia knew that life was short and that what really mattered was what we left behind. She knew that the lady had left a legacy of kindness and generosity that she herself had striven to continue. Sophia would never forget the old woman who looked up at the old house every day. She knew that you had been a great inspiration to her and that without her she would never have become the person she is today. And so, the story of the millionaire woman who helped an elderly woman who looked at an old house every day became a legend, told and retold for many generations. And in each of these stories, the lesson in kindness and generosity left by the elderly woman was always remembered and celebrated.